In this ad for the Mobile One brand, I have 30 seconds to talk about driving, which might be what you're doing right now. Maybe you're in the car, you're free, you're in control, on an open road with an open calendar. Your mind is wandering, and you're going with it. Or maybe you're stuck at work, in meetings, or emails, or worse, meetings about emails. And if that's the case, there's only one question. Why? Mobile One, for the love of driving. Visit loveofdriving.us/radio to learn more.
You are listening to the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, my favorite podcast to listen to on long flights across the galaxy.
This is the way.
We're wanted men.
I totally forgot. Dude, we are having so much awesome. Jason's in Dallas as we record this. So we are having all kinds of fun stuff. So he's recording different, and I've totally forgotten what number we were on. I'm having audio issues.
I think it's 216.
No, it's 213.
213. Oh, yeah.
So I can say, welcome to episode 213 of the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glen in Georgia. Jason's in Dallas. So if he sounds Dallas, Texas, because my wife actually did ask me, is he going to Georgia or Dallas, Georgia or Dallas, Texas? I'm like, I hope he's going to Dallas, Texas, because he's got to get on a plane. So Howdy, partner. So if Jason,
how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm an old prospector.
Don't ever. I'm in the box. That's most important. I've been in the box forever.
Yeah. That's a Toy Story 3 reference. Two.
So if Jason sounds a little weird, that's why. But we had to get this recording done because there's been like really crazy news going on in the world of the Star Wars collecting. So, Jason, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been chaotic.
Yeah?
Yeah. Went to the meetup. Not the meetup. It's not a meetup. It's the Powder Springs Toy Show thing.
Yeah. I didn't go. I had my grandkids and they didn't want to go, and I've been a little under the weather. So I'm just like, yeah, I'll stay home. Plus I've been out of town for work, and I deserved having a morning at my house.
Yeah.
So was it cool?
Self-care. Treat yourself. Self-care.
That's sort of what I decided to do. Was it a good show? Good turnout?
Yeah. I think they said they had 68 people, vendors show up.
That's a good turnout for that show.
And it was like very hot for October. I was not prepared. I don't like being in the sun without sunscreen, and I don't know. It's just October, and I just figured it's sweater weather, and it'd be like cool. But no, it was hot and sweaty.
You didn't wear a sweater, did you?
I did bring a hoodie, but I left that in the car.
Welcome to Georgia, man. It's like when we do the winter social, could be 90 degrees or 80 degrees, and everybody's in sweaters because we do a sweater contest, and I feel really bad for those people.
I did pick up an art print from it's a very X-rated artist, but this is not an X-rated piece.
Oh,
this is not his normal repertoire.
Oh,
but it is a Cantina piece, and it said it was 3 of 3.
Okay.
But it's like Greedo, it's the Godel, which is the goat-looking guy from the Cantina, and then 3 of the figurine band members. But Greedo's got like a cigarette in his mouth, and it's almost like they're in between filming scenes.
That sounds so awesome.
And it's really cool. So it's like I really needed that, so I picked that up at the swap meet.
Did you pick it up from the same person you picked up the other piece from?
Yeah, from the Shag.
Nice,
Steve.
Yeah, I was kind of interested in the other pieces he has, but I think he was lumping them all together, and I'm like, I have no other room for art, so I was good. He had some Boba Fett stuff.
and I picked up a a vintage squid head.
Nice.
The color looks off. And I spoke to Kelly because Kelly was there. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, Kelly, can you look at this?" And he looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, the color is off." But he said, is it a Lily Letty?" It was only $20.
Oh, for $20, definitely.
He said, "Is it a Letty?" And I said, "No, it's made in Hong Kong." Narayan said that it was a Cape de grade,
Right.
but Kelly says there's something up with it. So for $20, I bought it, and then I got home and I realized my squid head was a beater from my cousin,
There you
and
go.
so it didn't even have a cape or a belt.
For $20, you got a cape and a belt.
Yeah, so for like another $10, I'll have to track down the weapon, um, but yeah, I picked that up. So I walked around a couple times, spoke to a lot of people. I saw David from Second Chance, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him, no
Yeah.
pun intended. I did see Skylar from afar, but then I did a second lap to try to say hi to Skylar and to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Hmm.
And I never saw him again.
Yeah. Those are the
TK,
worst because you know you
T,
see each other and it's like, I'm going to get back to you. And you just never do.
yeah, TK was there. Jason came in with AVT, and he was making deals. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were doing good stuff there. I did see a 2-pack with Bib Fortuna and Leia.
Ooh,
Ouch.
how much was that?
He wanted $400, and I just can't afford that right now.
Yeah, I'm in the
Um,
same boat.
there's a couple things that I want. I made a deal, but it's a long-term deal, so it's like I can't do anything right now, something like that.
Hmm.
But David White, uh, Johnny Two was it Jimmy Two Packs?
Jimmy Two Backs. Yes.
Yeah, he said Leia is a very rough one, a very difficult one to find in a 2-pack.
Right.
And so it was a star. And Bib Fortuna had his weapon too, his
Ooh.
staff, which doesn't really come that often on 2-packs.
Do you know
So
who you
anyway,
remember? Do you remember who had it? So I mean, maybe you can make a deal
yeah,
later on.
yeah, I do.
Okay,
If
cool.
he's there, he was there last time. He's the guy I bought the Jurassic Park first edition from.
Oh, okay.
And
That's cool.
so yeah, so he was there the second time. And yeah, a lot more pop Funkos this time around.
I think maybe that's because I mean we just got done with Joanna and maybe people are overwhelmed or just maybe
Maybe.
the normal vendors are taking a week off. I don't
Yeah.
know. I wasn't there, so I can't say it. I know Steve had made a post that he was like, "I'm bringing a carload of stuff. Give me 3K for it, and it's yours." Uh, so I don't know if anybody took him up on that offer or not. Um, so I think that's sort of where people are right now.
On my way out of out of the toy show, I was following two cops, and I'm like, "Oh Jesus, something going on." I wasn't like following them. I was like walking down the alley.
Uh-huh.
You know, what do you want to call it? The in between tents. I was following them down in between tents. I was just making my way to the car, and I happened to be following them. They walked into a video game booth, and I followed them in because I was just wanting to see if they had any Zelda games. And I see this game laying on the countertop called The Legend of Iowa,
Uh-huh.
which I thought was weird because A, I was just in Iowa, and secondly, it's like the same Legend of Zelda font. I'm like,
Right.
what is the Legend of Iowa? And the dude kind of looks at the cops and he looks back at me. He goes, "It's a mod where you're in meth labs and the whole thing is Zelda, but you're in meth labs. The dungeons are all meth labs." I'm like, "Oh, okay.
Uh,
I don't really need that."
I guess I won't be having this. So where did you ever figure were they just there to be there?
Yeah, they were just there to. I guess as I was walking away from the booth, they were still in the video games, and someone said something like, "Last time I got this at this place," and so the cops were there last time shopping, and they're back this time shopping.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I
Nothing
was
else
just
going on.
because one of our friends that has a shop had a guy that was like brought oh, this all stuff got stolen and blah, and the cops just kind of they it turns out it was just the guy was trying to get free stuff.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
wasn't that. And
Okay.
and then Tony showed up right when I was about to leave. So I walked with Tony for a little bit and spent his money as he bought Cantina figures. You got, like I said, Atlanta Vintage Toys was making deals, so he picked up a couple things from them.
Nice.
and then he picked up a couple things from another vendor. But it's really he makes fun of me for opening things, but he's like, I really don't want to spend this money just to open it.
Well, I don't blame him, because if you're going to pay like $100 for something knowing you're going to open it, why are you going to do that?
Yeah, you're gonna spend $100 and it's worth 60 open. Well, he was gonna buy there was a $60 figure, but it was $40 open, so he would have lost $20.
Right.
And so luckily, Jason had it open as well, so he was able to buy the open one, and he didn't have to buy the boxed one. It was Dr. Ezevan.
Oh, I don't like you. Or in the Lego movie, I like you. He likes you too. I'm sorry. I am just off because my speakers are messed up. Anyway, yeah, no, just speaking of like open and closed versus like G.I. Joe, we were talking to our buddy Narayan, and he was talking how he was funny how like the G.I. Joe stuff, a mint on card and an open one are like $20-$30 apart, versus Star Wars where they're thousands of dollars apart or hundreds of dollars apart.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird. The weirdness of G.I. Joe versus Star Wars yet again.
Completely different culture.
Yes. Hey, now the speakers that I wanted. Hold on a minute. Let me swap over. There we go. Sorry. My for some reason my microphone, you can plug your headphones into your microphone so I can hear you and me at the same time, and Zoom was not recognizing it. Now all of a sudden it recognized it.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Sorry, gremlins, but they're fixed now. Everything's good here. Now I can concentrate. Yeah, you had picked me up because Jason had posted on Facebook. He had posted a picture and he had an Ezra that was different than the Ezra I had that I got at Jolana.
Yeah.
It had the helmet on. So you picked that up for me, and then they had a Obi-Wan. It had what was it, 2-pack of Kanan and Ezra and a Obi-Wan, some kind of Obi-Wan thing.
Yeah, that one it's a Rebels boxed item, and it came out right before Rebels, and it was Ezra and Kanan, and then there was a mysterious figure that was in black, and it was just because they were trying to preserve the Obi-Wan Kenobi cameo.
Oh,
so I think it's a Rebels version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he's a hologram.
interesting. So I'm gonna leave that open, so I'll never know what he looks like because it'll stay sealed, because that's the part I'm at with my Rebels stuff. So that's the only thing I really picked up. And I got my Phantom finally from Jordan. So Jordan came over Friday afternoon and hung out for about an hour and brought me my Phantom. So thank you, Jordan. He was like, we were talking and he goes, I was yelling at your podcast going, I have it right here. And I was yelling at him for not getting it back to me. He was like, it's right here, Glenn. I've got it. I'm bringing it to you.
I expected to see him at the Powder Springs thing, and he wasn't there either.
He said he had
him
some
or Richard.
housework he was waiting on.
Yeah.
He had people come work on his house, so he couldn't get to the toy show.
I also got some vintage collection figures. I can't remember which one.
Uh-oh. Come on, Jason.
Yeah, I got them this week. I also got a box with 2 more, and I think they're Acolyte figures, but I didn't open them because I had to get on the plane to get here. I also got the Jazzwares Series 5 with the holographic blue X-Wing. I felt bad because at the Powder Springs, I keep saying that. So if you've been taking a shot every time I say Powder Springs, you're probably drunk by now.
Hey, Jason!
Hey, Jason, say it again. I want another shot. Powder Springs. There you go. Lewis was looking for Power of the Force 2 stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what variant should I be looking out for? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. They're not that worth. They're not worth getting. They're so small in detail. It's just not worth it. So he comes over at the end. He's got this whole box of figures. He's like, look at this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is that variant, and this is cool. This is that variant. This is cool. Oh. And he's like, they had a Boba Fett for $18. So I was like, oh well, check that Boba Fett out for the variant because he's got half moon circles and he's worth more than $20. And if he's got the full circle, you probably can get it more. I was like, where was I earlier in the morning when I needed to give him this information? But he did get like Dagobah Luke short saber long tray, which is a cool variant. That's one of my favorite.
I'm still kind of waiting. I don't know. I have a feeling those are going to end up taking off. I've been saying this for the last 5 or 6 years, waiting for that to happen, and I haven't seen them happen yet. But hey, good for him. I've got some in my garage. I guess I need to dig through.
I'm looking for Luke Skywalker in his Tatooine attire, Farm Boy Luke. But I know people flap their arms when I
You
say
can still call him Farm Boy Luke, Jason. I will allow you.
water evaporator Luke, moisture evaporator Luke. I'll say that. Long tray short saber. That's the one I'm hunting for. So I'm putting it out there and I'll find it eventually.
Yes, it'll happen, Jason.
But I think that's the most expensive variant for Power Force 2.
Really?
Well, I say that, and I know that there's other ones that are like so microscopic in variants that they're worth much more. But you get into some of like the holographic stickers. This one doesn't have it. This one has it, and those can be worth a couple $100.
Mm. Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that is everything. I did get my Rocketeer poster.
That's all, dude. You were telling me that you got like a heck of a deal on top of everything. You got a good deal, and then like there was no back end on it.
No, that was the full price, and it was almost like bidding eBay, and it was like $21. So my wife got the Peter Pan poster. I made sure that it didn't have the Native Americans on it, just because I don't really want something insensitive on my walls. I'll say that. So it didn't have it, and it's got gorgeous colors. And they airbrushed Peter Pan to look like he's in 3D.
Nice.
So he's got like shadow lines and stuff like that. So he looks really cool. And then the Rocketeer poster just made me feel like I was 12 again.
That's awesome.
It's such a cool poster. It's Art Deco. I love it.
I know you love the Rocketeer.
I do.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. I haven't been. I'm waiting on my Bill and Ted piece. I think those things are finally in motion, so I should have that here in the next probably hopefully month. Knock on wood. So when I get that, I'll be like able to announce it. So, anything else? Anything fun?
Anything fun? This week is I don't think so. No. The deck is almost done.
The what?
My deck is almost done.
Finally.
I wish I had this in May.
Yeah, that'd have been awesome. Yeah, no, I am just so out of the loop because I haven't really been home for like 2 weeks. I come home on the weekends and it's like I've got to do everything that I haven't been able to do during the week. And then as soon as I get everything settled, I'll be on a cruise. So yay. Here we go. I haven't been home for a month by the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel really, really out of the loop right now as far as things go. Nothing exciting. I hadn't really I don't know. I'm trying to come up with stuff to talk about and I just can't. I can't.
So one thing we've talked about, and this has been something people have even like, I think out of all the topics we've discussed, we've done this twice and it's really resonated with people, what to do with our collections after we die.
Yes.
And there's been 4 collectors who realize that we need to do something because we've got some one-of-a-kind pieces and we need to think about our legacy of collecting. And so Steve Sansweet, Gus Lopez, Duncan Jenkins, what's his, Vic and Lisa.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know I don't think if I've met the 4 those, I don't remember meeting them.
They've decided to team up and create the Saga Museum, which will be like the Mecca for Star Wars when they're done.
Right. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. And that was announced at the gala, the Rancho Obi-Wan Gala this past week. So Rancho will still be open for the next couple of years as they figure out. I mean, they've been planning this for a while, but now they've announced it. And so this was the pitch to the world. I actually have the verbiage here from Steve. We're all getting up there in age at Rancho Obi-Wan owner Steve Sansweet. His estimated 400,000 plus movie relics, including original set pieces and concept art, would anchor the new museum. We've all wondered what's going to happen with our collection when we're no longer here. So yeah, so they're making a museum. It's going to have a theater. It's going to have a cafeteria. It's going to be like a legit museum.
That I mean, yeah, no, I'm happy that they're doing this because I think it'll also inspire other collectors. There'll be like, what are my one-off pieces, that I don't want,
Yeah,
it'll inspire a lot of other collectors to donate to the museum. So in 10 years, it can be just some incredible artifact of Star Wars collecting.
yeah. I mean, we talk about this all the time. How the Black Series is not worth anything. I don't think they need another set of vintage collection figures or vintage figures themselves. But I could see myself donating some items to the museum
Yeah.
just to be like, here,
Yeah. So you
you
have a
guys have it.
legacy so that it'll always say donated by Jason Wisoko,
Yeah.
and it'll be there. It'll be your legacy to collecting.
When Steve was here for Rogue Fun and he was leaving, he said, if you ever want to donate that Star Destroyer to a museum, I think I know one. And the Star
Wow.
Destroyer has just been sitting in my garage. So I gotta, I, I think I want to donate it to Rancho Obi-Wan at some point.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I
I
don't
think
know
it,
what
it
else,
no, I
what
think
else
it
to
would make
do
an
with it.
awesome display piece. They know what to do with it. I don't know what shipping would cost.
Yeah, I'll go drive it out there and go visit the ranch. I mean,
Well, I think, and I also think the drawback from Rancho Obi-Wan is everybody that I've talked to is it's 2 hours away from any um, airport. So, I mean, when you go, it's not, you've got to plan for it. It's not like, oh, I'm in San Francisco. Let me just go hit the museum.
yeah,
It'll take a day to do because not only it's so huge, it takes you 2 hours to get there.
yeah. So, and then as part of that, they want to do a traveling exhibit.
Yeah.
And so currently they're raising $2 million for this traveling exhibit. So the exhibit would go to different cities and they could help raise money that way and to show off. It's kind of similarly to what they did for Celebration.
Uh-huh.
All of them had that Rancho Obi-Wan exhibit where they were featuring Mandalorian stuff.
Right.
Like Gus had the Boba Fett's stock jetpack from Return of the Jedi. Lisa and Vic had the prototype for the Micro Machines transforming head playset for Boba Fett. Like they all contributed things, and so that's all going to come together and just create this one phenomenal thing. I know, like Gus owns Leia's bikini. He's got original mask. He's got General Nadine's beard.
Right. He's got like awesome one of the kind stuff, and it'll open his collection up to the masses because you're really careful who you invite into your home, but when you have
Yeah,
a museum, it's a lot easier to, then it's open to everybody. And no, I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for that tour. I mean, I hope they come to Atlanta or at least close enough to where we can shoot up there, within driving, make a weekend out of it and go check it out. That would be awesome.
it'd be awesome if
Um,
we can coordinate something for May 2026. It's here in
yes,
Atlanta.
that would be great. Yes, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Um, but no, it's incredible. And um, I'm trying to what the where to go next, but it brings up that answer, hey, now you have a place you can donate your stuff or donate stuff that you can't sell. I mean, yeah, like you said, they're not going to want another 92 run because it is, I have discovered that it's like that's the first thing you normally check off on your list of when you start collecting, but everybody has like their own way to display it. Mine's in a nice cabinet. Other people are kind of off in a corner. They're like, oh yeah, my 92 is back over here somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, so it's a different feel for everybody. But yeah, definitely. Now you have another option for what to do with your collection when, and I'm sure they'll be taking donations to it. I know people have already said that they want to donate it. So yeah,
And uh, and the prices of some of these things are just astronomical.
right.
And they'll just go to someone's collection and they might get locked up behind glass and no one will ever see it. But if it's all together in one place, it'll just be so easy to access and experience ourselves. We just wouldn't be able to see that otherwise. And the price of a rocket flying Boba Fett just keeps going up and up and up. There's limited people who will be able to buy it. And so
Right.
why not just make a museum for it and show it off to people and share the experience? It shouldn't be something that, and that's the thing about all four of them, especially Steve. He's kind of led the way where it's like I have all this stuff, but it doesn't really belong to me. It belongs to everybody,
Right.
and let me open up my doors so everybody can experience it and share it. He's kind of set that role. He's the role model for the hobby. And so they're just continuing that legacy, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's an awesome idea. Yeah, I can't say enough about those guys because we've had Steve. What's crazy to think about is we've had the Steve Sansweet and Gus Lopez in our home at the same time. It's like
Yeah.
two of those guys have been in our house, so it's kind of crazy. And they it's very humbling when you have the high, the um people raising the bar and setting the bar for the collecting community. You consider them friends or at the very least an acquaintance, a inner circle acquaintance type thing.
Yep.
So it's awesome when you see your friends do stuff like that.
So yeah, the Saga Museum of Star Wars Memorabilia has been pitched, and it's up to us, the community and fellow collectors, to see it through.
Right. So look them up online and you can make it. They're already accepting donations, I believe, for it. So
I'll be making a donation at some point.
yeah, probably me too. Let me get something out. Let me get all this stuff out the way.
Exactly.
But yeah, that being said, if anybody is offering to sell your collection and want to take a cut, run away. Just run away. That's all I'm gonna say. If anybody wants to, is like offer it, huh?
Monorail.
Monorail, yes. Monorail. Every time I see the monorail at Disney World, I just think of monorail.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody's like, hey, I'll take a cut of your off the top when you pass and I'll sell your collection for your family, go the other way, because that's not people you want to deal with. And yeah. Anywho, any other wonderful Star Wars news?
Yeah, at LA Comic Con this past weekend, Ewan McGregor said that Lucasfilm is, quote, exploring, end quote, ideas for season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He personally said that he wants to wear Clone War armor, and have flashbacks with Hayden.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Him and Hayden is like definitely their friendship has blossomed, or at least now we know how big their friendship is. I mean, maybe it's been hidden over the past few years, but now with Hayden coming back to the limelight,
Yeah.
it's showing more. And those guys, I'd love to see those guys on screen together again. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, you can tell it's a legitimate friendship, that it's true and genuine, that it's authentic. It's not something just for show because we need to promote it for the next season. It seems like it's like they've been through a lot. They've been through it together,
Yeah.
and it shows.
Yeah. No, I'm down for it. Let's see it. Let's see what happens. And then I've also know that they have talked about doing like live action Clone Wars is being kicked around. It's like, how are they going to get that worked out? I don't know. There's just the way that they do Star Wars stuff is just so open-ended. It's becoming like Marvel, where they can just enter storylines into a show, and I'm
Yeah.
down for that, man. Let's do it.
Well, there's a couple stories that's kind of related. The Acolyte could have cost 230 to 250 million to produce, according to Forbes. It's not the 180 that they originally said the cost of the Acolyte was.
Uh-huh.
That's not even proper English, but it costs a lot more, and that's not even to market it. So they spent even more money to market it. So it's a huge financial loss for Lucasfilm, and I think they're going back to what's working, because again, they kind of said that Obi-Wan Kenobi was off the table for season 2. When the DVD came out, the 4K came out, it said the complete series. It didn't say the first season like it does for Andor.
Right.
I think Lucasfilm was looking at things like, oh, the fans like Clone Wars, let's give them more of that. Let's give them more Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin. The fans like Cal Kestis, well, let's explore adding Cal Kestis to live action.
Yeah.
Have you heard that rumor?
Yeah, I've had that. That rumor's been around for a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it seems to have picked up a little bit this week. because I even heard like 2027 would be the time that we see him either incorporated. I don't want him incorporated into the Mandalorian verse.
Right.
I really, I really feel like Lucasfilm should pump the brakes on having Jedi survive the dark times and come through on the other side of Return of the Jedi.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to see. I could definitely see a series with him, but I'd want his character to die before A New Hope.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Because like,
And it's also, I mean, it feels like they've got this thing that's working with the Mandalorian, and they're like, let's shoehorn a bunch of stuff into it.
yeah,
Because like I was down I had my grandkids this weekend, and we're downstairs in the collection room, and my grandson looks right at me and goes, "When did Sabine get a lightsaber?" And I'm like, oh, dude, you didn't watch Ahsoka? But he goes, I've watched Boba Fett because Luke came and saved him. So I mean, it's I don't know. I don't want to. Part of me wants it to be like Marvel, but then part of me also know that scares a lot of people like me away from it, from Marvel. You know, you are like, oh crap, I got to watch another show. But then as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, give me all the content.
yeah.
I think they need to do it in a way that you could still watch the major movies and be okay without having to go headlong and get really nerdy with it.
Yeah, if I was in Lucasfilm right now, I would say, all the movies need to be chronological. So
Uh-huh.
if we're making a Mando movie, we're not going to skip ahead 30 years to Rey. The next movie will be Ahsoka's movie, and then maybe Heir to the Empire is the third movie, or something along those lines. And then when we're done with that, we can make Rey,
Mhm.
then the next Rey. And if you want to do something on the cheap, I guess I would do something on Disney Plus. I would release a movie on Disney Plus. It's not chronological. It doesn't, you've got your movies on screen, which are all tied together.
Mhm.
Then separately, you could tell individual stories on Disney Plus.
Right. The
Not to
only
confuse, not to confuse the audience.
right, right. And as long as the movies could stand alone, I think they'd be okay. Your camera is just following you. It's like Zoom and an iPad or iPhone or whatever is like, hey, are you on a pad or a phone?
iPad.
iPad. Yeah, the iPad camera follows you around. So that's what's going
Yeah.
on with Jason. What am I thinking? So the only problem I have with that is because by the time they would probably get away, get ready to make a Ray movie, how old is what's her face going to be? Is she still going to be interested in it, and would she still fit to look like the Ray that they needed?
She says she's interested and that she liked the idea of the story, but whether or not it gets actually made is another story.
Right. Eh. I just want good content, man. Give me good content that I can enjoy with, enjoy my grandkids. I mean, my grandkids are 8, 9, or 7 and 8, and they were watching Young Jedi Adventures. I was surprised that it held their attention like it did, because that's made for like little kids,
Yeah.
for like kids half their age, but it held their attention for hours.
Good.
Yeah. So
Good for
just
them.
get the Star Wars content out there. I thought about watching Ahsoka with them, but they were just, I wasn't going to, they were like, get them out of my hair, go watch some TV.
According to a Variety article, studios are putting together superfan groups in an attempt to combat toxic fans.
Uh-huh.
Toxic fans. The thought is that they could provide valuable feedback on marketing and let studios know how to market to fans. Even if it's early enough, they might be able to make changes to the final product. But this has me worried because just because you don't like something doesn't mean you know how to fix it.
Right.
And we all know what happens when Homer tries to make his own car. He wasn't happy with anything and it looked like crap.
Yeah.
And
I've lost
sometimes
everything on this thing.
sometimes fans don't know what they want. And if they start making the same things over and over again, it's going to get stale and it's going to be counterproductive to what the studios want.
Right.
I get that people didn't like Luke Skywalker turning to the dark side for 3 seconds.
Mm.
But I mean, he turned to the dark side in the old legends.
Right.
So it's like, what do you guys want?
Yeah.
I just can't see him turning to the dark
No,
side
he
after
was
the
in the
TV
dark
show.
side. He did the dark side thing. I mean, Oh, I'm still mad that they got rid of the EU, but what you gonna do? I understand why they did it, but it still sucked.
But going back to the super groups, these focus groups, I guess. What are your thoughts?
I've done focus groups for stuff before, and I mean, I guess as long as they work, but you got to make sure you get the right people in there. You got to have a good mix of people, I think. And like you said, as long as they're not okay, we'll consider what you're saying, but we're not going to take everything a totally new direction because of what you're saying. Because yeah, I just because I want something to happen doesn't mean it should happen. I'd love for Sabine and Ahsoka to come back and fight along with Mandalorian and all this stuff, but it doesn't fit, it doesn't work. It may not work for everybody. So I can't, if I was in charge of Star Wars, it'd be a totally different story.
I think that Disney marketing could use something like this because their
Yeah.
marketing could be atrocious.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Solo was not marketed well. John Carter was not marketed well. And I know there's some things from in John Carter that kind of feels derivative, but it's because everything that's followed John Carter is derivative. So it's kind of like making fun of itself or making something from it. It's anyways, marketing at Disney is a big cluster,
Right.
and they need focus groups to say, is this working for you? No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Do something else.
Right.
Tron
Yeah.
Legacy is one of my favorite movies. Another one that needs to be marketed better.
I wonder why is it though? I mean, they've got this $1 billion, in monster behind them, and they don't know how to get out their own way, I think.
I think Disney kind of feels like we've got this IP. If you make something with the IP, they will come.
Right.
And that's not always the case because sometimes it just you didn't do that right. You didn't make it look good.
Yeah. Yeah, just because you have it, I guess doesn't mean you need to make it or you need to I don't know. No, I agree with focus groups. I mean, I do I don't know, I'm repeating myself, but there can be good and bad and you'd at least know what needs to happen with them. And what sucks is John Carter, like you were saying, John Carter wasn't I never seen it and I need to watch it because that is like the start of everything, just like
Yeah,
Flash Gordon was.
it's
That's one of the reasons why we have Star Wars. So, I mean, and it just stinks it kind of gets lost.
I like John Carter. It's got a lot of that, like you're saying, Flash Gordon vibes to it. And I don't think it needs to tell me something about being human. It's just a great fantasy adventure.
Right.
It's definitely of a time.
Right. Um, no, I don't know where I'm going, but it never mind. I don't
Did
know
you
what I want to say, Jason. I don't know
did
what
you
to do with my hands.
did you ever see Return to Oz?
Is that
It's a
based on Wizard of
sequel.
Oz?
Yeah, it's a sequel that Disney made.
Oh no, I've never seen it.
Oh, it came out in the 80s. I loved it. My wife
Yeah.
is terrified by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she doesn't like it. But I loved it. Brian Henson puppeteered Jack, who was a skeleton figure. He was a scarecrow. It's like a scarecrow that comes to life.
Uh-huh.
But Jack was the inspiration for Jack Skellington for Tim Burton.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask because it did feel like you were, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that I learned this week, and there's a podcast called The Weekly Planet, and they were talking about this, that Disney wanted to fire the original director
Uh-huh.
of Return to Oz because it was a little bit slower than they wanted. When they saw the dailies, they wanted to get a new director. And so they asked Francis Ford Coppola, Spielberg, and Lucas
Wow.
if they would take over production. Lucas said, "Don't fire the director." I think
Mhm.
Lucas is like, it's the director's vision. Carry out the director's vision. Do what he says because he's the one that's got the direction for the entire film. And he said, if you do need to fire someone, I will personally step in and take over production. I think this was 84, 85. It was 85 or 86. So he never had to do that. The director was able to finish it, but Lucas did visit the set, and that's where he met Rick McCallum for the first time. Would go on to produce his Young Indiana Jones Chronicles and then the prequels. So I just didn't realize how important of a flashpoint it was for Lucas and the future of Star Wars when he visited Return to Oz.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
It is funny how like little things just blossom into big things, and you don't realize meeting somebody in 15 years what it means.
Yeah, Rick McCallum should have said no every once in a while. I think he's got, and I know people have combated that he's not really a yes man.
Uh-huh.
It's not accurate to say that he's a yes man, but it does feel like he's a yes man, which isn't fair. But I'll move on from that. That's all the news I had this week.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a big news week. Anything else going on? Anything?
How much time do we have?
It's 6 o'clock, so whatever.
Well, I mean, like, how long have we been recording?
Like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on what time I hit record. I don't know. It doesn't track it. It used to give me a countdown, but it doesn't give it to me anymore. Maybe I need to fix that or figure it out.
Yeah, I just don't want to do an incredibly short episode. There's a lot coming up in the next couple of years for Star Wars collectors, a lot of events. And I don't know I mean, I've heard rumors, so I can't really say what's coming on the horizon, but there's a lot. So
yeah,
I think here in Georgia, we'll just ask people to keep May 2026 open. For no reason in particular.
No fun reason.
Nothing confirmed, but just pencil it in that maybe something might happen.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly, maybe.
Yes, I think so. I think it'd be awesome. keep that, and I've heard keep October, same weekend as Xenia. Keep that. I think the Xenia toy show was this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, from what Narayan showed me, I was like, oh, there's not a lot of Star Wars toys there, but it's still a fun show. I was wrong.
I'm going to Xenia next year.
Awesome. I need to make that a weekend too. That needs to Xenia's awesome, dude.
And if I can, I want to put together a bourbon run. There's right in Frankfort, Kentucky, on your way to Cincinnati. Is that where? And then Cincinnati North is where
Cincinnati. It's north of Cincinnati, but you could. It's only 45. Xenia's only like 45 minutes an hour north of Cincinnati, so you could legitimately do something in Kentucky and have the weekend in Cincinnati and then shoot up to Xenia for the day. Because that's what we did. We did that a couple of years ago. We spent the week before in Cincinnati toy hunting, and then they had the Cincinnati toy show, and Xenia was Saturday, Cincinnati was Sunday. So it was just a fun week of toy hunting.
So what I would like to do either before or after Xenia is organize some sort of bourbon run where you can hit Buffalo Trace, Woodford Reserve, Bullet, Four Crown. There's a couple up there in that area. So all you have to do is you have to book tours early, so it does take a lot of coordination. But if there's enough people interested, I would love to do that with other collectors.
Yeah. I was wondering how you were going to do that in Georgia. Now that you say it's in Kentucky, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, no, we're not doing it in Kentucky. We're not doing it in Georgia.
You're right. I'm like, there is no bourbon in Georgia, Jason.
No, there's just cursed water in Lake Lanier.
Right.
You can't make bourbon water from ghosts.
Yeah, I need to where is shoot. I was trying to remember where Narayan had sent all these pictures. But there was one booth that just had like a whole bunch of like awesome stuff from Xenia that was like, I felt like going up just to see that booth would have been worth the trip. That one booth would have made it worth the trip.
Yeah, you shared one photo of a reference photo of Snaggletooth.
Yeah, that was there.
Which is incredibly helpful because I just 3D printed a Snaggletooth helmet or mask. And so I got put hair on them, and now I know exactly where the hair goes on Snaggletooth.
because it's there. Yeah, I'm working. He did see a blue X-Wing for $35. I don't know if he picked it up or not. From Micro
The
Galaxy Squadron.
holographic one. Yeah, Barry Scott was messaging me too of a bunch of things, Micro Machines and that holographic X-Wing, and I was just like, I would have just rather have picked up that blue hollow X-Wing for $35 than buy the whole case.
Right. Oh, so it came with the box you just picked up.
Yeah, it came with the box.
He had a sealed Wampa. There was a sealed Wampa Cabe for $200, micro collection. That would have been cool, but I've already got one, and that's about what I paid for mine. There was like 2 Vlixas sitting in a.
What is the going price of a Vlix these days? Is it still 40,000?
I don't think it's that much. I know
Is
it's
that carded?
expensive.
40,000 might be carded.
Right. It's not cheap, and these both were graded. One's with the coin, one's without. No, the one with the coin doesn't look like it's graded. It looks like it's just cased. Wow. But people had said that they've seen that. He sent a bunch of superpowers. I'm just going through pictures. Yeah, there's all the mic. There's your reference. Snaggletooth, and then that's it. But there was one booth that just was full of awesome Star Wars stuff. So yeah, Xenia is definitely, I think it's a gotta get to event. As far as toy collecting, they do 2 of them. They do one in the spring and one in first weekend of October, most of the time. So one in fall. So yeah, definitely, I think Xenia is going to be a must-do trip next year.
Yeah, I'll be there next fall.
Yeah. I guess I need to request a time off now. Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, what else? There's something else I was going to bring up, and I can't remember.
You watching anything good on TV?
I was just watching Agatha on the plane.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm just rewatching Friends in the West Wing.
Friends, like, I'll be there
Yeah.
for you. Oh,
Yeah.
Friends and the West Wing. Now I hear what
Yeah.
you say. Yeah, dude, there's not a whole lot of good stuff on TV. We started watching the Menendez show, and it took a really left turn, and I had to stop watching it. I'm trying to get back into it, but it just took a really weird left turn, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch it anymore. There's Fight Night on Paramount. That's been pretty good. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Can't go wrong with him.
Yeah. Huh?
Can't go wrong with Samuel L. Jackson.
No, it's really good. And what's sad is we're finally realizing we're watching shows that are coming out. So we're so used to binging stuff that we're like, oh man, it's over. Oh no, there's more episodes coming out. So yeah, anything I don't know, man. Nothing else is really happening, is it? Other than
Now, I've started production for the trophies for the Winter Social.
awesome.
Believe it or not, that's just 2 months away.
Dude, that's what's scary, man. It's like they keep saying that we only got like 30 days to vote, which means that we've only got 30 days till our birthdays.
Yeah. 30 days until I'm 45.
Oh, you young buck, you.
Yeah, I'm on the younger side.
Yeah.
But I'm not the youngest. I'm not the youngest collector.
No.
At least not from the group.
Right.
Blake would take that.
Yep. He'll keep that for a minute.
And then I started producing swag for the event as well.
Awesome.
I've got some retro swag, which I think is hilarious. So hopefully people will find it funny.
I hope so too, man. That'll be great. Swag. It's funny how far swag has come, because it used to be like, oh, that's just Narayan's thing, and now all of a sudden everybody's doing it.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. Yeah, it's a focus. It was a big focus at Rogue Fun. Swag just kind of exploded for that. And
yeah,
that was an aspect that I just didn't anticipate, the amount of swag for Rogue Fun.
Yeah, no, the Rogue Fun had some awesome swag. Had some really fun swag.
I was trying to think the other day, and I don't want to just keep rehashing it, but like, what was the most meaningful moment in Rogue Fun for me?
Uh-huh.
And I had a moment where I got verklempt right at the start, right before we let everybody in. The room was set. It was right before we let like Jerry and Ryan in. the presenters to kind of see the room and kind of soak it in a little bit. And I was just like,
Uh-huh.
it's here. It's a year of planning, and it's like it's here. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. So you got punked or you got pumped?
Ah,
I thought you
I
said
didn't
you
get
got punked. I must have misheard.
verklempt, choked up.
Oh yeah, for Klimt. Yes. No, that was my moment too, is because you walk in that room and you're like, because you're kind of rushing. I was in the same boat you're in, or you're kind of rushing and you're like, oh, I've got all this stuff to do. And you're like, wait a minute, let me stop, take a breath, because I'm getting ready to walk in the room for the first time and like be one of the first people to see it. And yeah, you're like, oh my God, we did it. And it looks amazing. Uh,
And believe it or not, it was only 5.5 months ago. It feels like a year.
it really does.
Yeah, that was 5.5 months ago that we put that on.
You know what that means?
That we're old?
No, time to start planning Electric Boogaloo.
No. Um, then we've got the meetup next week at Second Chance Toys.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss that one. I'm kind of bummed that I'm gonna miss it, but I'll be having fun elsewhere.
You'll be on the beach in your Speedo.
You damn right I will be.
Don't share photos. We don't want to see it.
Yeah. Come on, let's do it.
No. Keep the photos to yourself of you in the Speedo. We don't want to see that.
Right.
Oh, Texas. There's no clouds in the sky in Texas.
Yeah. How long are you in Texas?
Just until tomorrow night.
Oh, so you're not gonna have any like sightseeing time or anything.
No. I'm doing a golf tournament tomorrow, and then I'm heading right to the airport and flying back
Oh,
home.
wow. So like basically your sightseeing time is spent recording this podcast.
Yeah, I'm just looking at you. Look at the sights.
Well,
Look
I
at
don't know
that.
where in Dallas. I mean, you can go make sure you get some good, if you have time to get, no, you're not going to have time to get barbecue.
No, we are going to the Ranch, which is a steakhouse, and I guess it's a famous steakhouse.
Maybe I don't.
I've been there before, and I got an old fashioned, and it comes with like a square ice cube,
Uh-huh.
and they put the state of Texas in the cube,
Oh, nice.
so like it's frozen around the state of Texas, the outline of Texas, and I'm like, where am I? Am I in Texas? Oh yes, my drink tells me I'm in Texas. For a second there, I thought I was in Alabama, but then I looked down at my drink and I said, "Oh no, this is Texas."
Texas. Hey, just remember it's always big. It's everything's bigger in Texas, dude. I love Texas. I need to, I haven't been back. I haven't been to Texas in a long time. And, but if I do Texas, I want to do like a road trip. I want to, because there's stuff I want to see in Austin. There's stuff I want to see in Dallas. There's stuff I want to see in Houston,
San
so it'd be
Antonio,
huh?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. I'd like to see the Alamo. Yeah, that's true, because people in Texas don't call it San Antonio. It's San Antonio.
Yeah, I've been to San Antonio. I've seen the
Yep.
Alamo.
Did you see the
I've seen
basement?
I've seen where Pee Wee Herman has been.
Yeah. It doesn't have a basement.
I was talking, was it you that I was talking about what Tim Burton's greatest movie was? And I said it was Beetlejuice, and then someone said Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Really?
And if it's Pee Wee, then that's his first movie. It was all downhill there for Tim
Right.
Burton.
No, I was there. I was like on the outskirts of that conversation. Is that one of the meetups?
Yeah, I mean, I think Beetlejuice is probably his best. It's the most Tim Burton.
Yeah. I watched Beetlejuice the other night, and about an hour into it, I got up to go use the restroom. And when I came back, it was over. I was like, it was it? Is that an hour and a half banger? You just in and out?
What were you doing in the bathroom?
I don't know. I had other stuff going on. I
Keep it to
might have
yourself.
fixed a drink or something. I don't know, but
Uh-huh.
it was just one of those where I was gone like 20 minutes and it was over. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It was all right. I hadn't seen it in a long time. Maybe I need to rewatch it again one more time before we go see Beetlejuice. But that's getting ready to come out on digital here soon, which means you'll be able to see it for free.
That's part of the problem that movie theaters have and movie studios. You gotta make that window longer again. You need to make it a year.
Yeah.
You can't just rush things to streaming services. And if you time it right, like we'll have a release every month, but it's a release of every month from something that opened a year ago. So it's not like you have to have it rushed to streaming services. And when
I
people start when people feel like they have to go to the theater, then they will.
Right.
If they feel like they can wait the 45 days, then they will.
Yeah, at least make it 6 months, because even at 6 months, you're like, oh, I don't want to wait 6 months to see this movie. Because I thought was it a year? I thought it was only 6 months.
For Disney, sometimes it's faster than that. I mean, Inside
Right.
Out 2 is already out on Disney Plus. That
Yeah,
came
my
out
kids, we watched it. We watched that the other day.
came out in June, July.
Yeah, and we watched that on Friday night. We watched it. They were like, Inside Out 2 is on Disney Plus. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen it somewhere else, but it may have been Inside Out that I watched or saw. But hey, it was a cute movie. I know it's got some stuff on the ship, so we'll see. The Disney Cruise Line's got it.
Hmm.
An ice cream shop dedicated to.
Well, you have fun with that. I think next week we're gonna have Jordan on as a co-host,
Yep, that'll be fun.
and I'm trying to think of what the topic might be. Spooky things, like what's the
There you
spookiest things from Star Wars?
right. That or just talk UFOs for an hour.
It might fall in. I also learned this week that the guy at Roswell who originally recovered the craft was
Uh-huh.
from Houma, Louisiana.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Major Marcel.
That's interesting. I had at one point, I was a teenager at the time, and I might still know where it's at, but my aunt and uncle went to Roswell and they got me a replica of the little piece of metal that they had. I have no clue where it's at now, but it was 30 years ago. But that, and I guess they met the guy and they had him sign I don't know, I don't remember the guy's name, but it was one of the guys that was there, had him
Oh, really?
sign a replica of the newspaper article, of like the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah, so I was just watching Unsolved Mysteries on the plane here, and they did a special on Roswell, and
Yeah.
the fact that the U.S. Army told the newspapers, if you run this article anymore, you will immediately lose your license.
Wow.
So they first came out and said there's a flying saucer,
Mhm.
and the Army came back the next day and said, if you say that again, you're going to lose your license.
Wow.
Shut everything down. And it's like, if that's just a weather balloon, you're not going to do that.
Right.
And then
Interesting.
the U.S. Army documents everything.
Right.
There is no record of a balloon crash.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe they got rid of it.
No. Anyways, so that, and then the following week, I know you said you'll be back, but I'm thinking,
I'll be back Saturday night.
okay,
So I could do something Sunday, but
all right, well, we could do something Sunday, and then maybe Naraya could join us and talk about Xenia.
okay. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Give them a week to decompress and get it. We can have a Xenia show. Because Xenia, yeah, I people need to know about that show. It is a hidden gem, as far as I'm concerned. Huh?
It's an uncut job.
One more.
That was a social media thing, like uncut jobs.
Oh,
Never mind.
never mind. I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
We're not young and hip.
No, I'm not. But I do watch the TikToks.
I know. I'm too old.
It's so frustrating. I'll send you something and you're like, dude, I don't have TikTok. And you know
Too
what?
old.
Keep it that way, because it is not yeah.
It's fetch. I get it. It's fetch and dope and no capping and it's got the Riz, but I ain't part of that.
And you just know that because you have teenagers.
I have teenagers that their skin crawls. It's so funny because it's like it's just words. It's nothing that I'm saying some magical spell when I say it's Riz. It's like it's just a word, but the kids
Right.
just like, oh, don't say that. They freak out.
That's my
It's
word,
like,
Dad. Stop.
there's no power in it. It's just a weird word. It's short and charisma. But I was at that Taylor Swift thing a couple months ago, and I posted on social media like I've got that Taylor Swift Riz or something like that. And Maisie came up to me. She's like, "Dad, pull that down." It's like, why? She's like, because it means you've got like charisma, like talking to girls. I'm like, oh, I'm married, so I probably should pull that down. She's like, yes, do it. I really didn't know what Riz meant.
That's like when I posted the picture of my mother-in-law drunk on the front porch of our Airbnb, of our bed and breakfast. And she came to me real fast. Take that down.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
upset the mother-in-laws.
No, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that.
But I don't want to waste any more time. Anything else?
No, I think that's everything. I'm getting ready to drive into a hurricane, so yay.
Oh, it's a hurricane. It's coming to Orlando, though. Where do you depart?
Port Canaveral.
It's on the other side.
Yeah. Well, we're spending like 2 days in St. Augustine.
And you leave Saturday?
No, we're leaving Thursday morning.
Well, that should be right when the hurricane comes through.
It should be past. It'll pass. It'll be like, we'll be getting down there like as soon as it's passed. I hope. I really hope.
Keep telling yourself that.
But Florida is just like, it's a hurricane. To tell you how much Florida thinks of hurricanes, one was hitting like Thursday or Friday. My son's at a hockey game Wednesday night with thousands of other people, full arena of people. How Florida's just like, bring it, let's go.
Well, they're better prepared. I mean, their windows have like metal sheets of metal that you can put on them, so it's protecting your house.
Right. Yeah, it's that Milton thing that that people are like freaking out. They're like, oh my God, it's going to cancel the cruise. I'm like, it won't cancel the cruise. It'll be gone before the cruise.
Thanks a lot, Melvin.
Yeah.
Well, you enjoy your cruise. Hopefully you get tan. Don't share any photos from Speedos. We don't need to see that.
Well, yeah, I'm not getting the Wi-Fi package, so I'm not doing that. Any sharing photos.
And then don't post photos of your wife drunk.
Yes.
And
I don't know. I think drinking is expensive on a Disney cruise, but
it is.
I plan on getting the banana drink, which Jordan says rocks. He used another word, but he said get the banana drink.
Well, thank you, Jordan, for recommending that. And thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out and points people to our show. You can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback. We'd love to make you part of our show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. Thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People, collect for the love of it. Hashtag what with your wallet. I'm allergic to love cats. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collective community. This is the way.
This is the way.